Okay, so what I'm trying to do is set up a template for getting a reasonable number of images for a concertina book on a sheet of A3 paper. This does really limit your size to around a 10 centimetre by 10 centimetre page, and you may decide that this is actually too small, but this is how I go about creating a grid that you can then fill with your own pictures. And it may look a bit unwieldy, but I found that this is actually quicker than trying to work out how to set up a guides without putting the pictures on the page first. When I tried doing it just by setting up the guides, it got incredibly complicated and mathematical, and I got so confused. I thought, I'm going to put the pictures on the page first, make the guides fit around them, and then take the pictures off the page. So this is what I'm trying to do. So looking at this image in Photoshop, imagine that this is one of your photos. I've taken a yellow square as being a photograph, and I've added a canvas size of 1 centimetre all around it to create a border, because I believe that you're probably going to have a white border around your pictures. I'm now going to add a tiny white, grey, black line around the very edge of the page, so that when we've got them on the white A3 sheet, we can see where the edges of each individual image are, and that will help us to set up the guides. And that means it will have a tiny grey edge around it. Now what we're going to do is create a leporello by copying and pasting the image. So you make a copy and then you slide it along off the page. You can't actually see it until you go to Image Reveal All. Now you've got 2 images. And what we're going to do is copy that, flatten it, and make another copy of it, so that we're going to have 4 images. So I'm sliding the new copied images along and until the lines meet exactly, and then go to Reveal All again, and now you've got 4 pages of a leporello lined up. Now you can flatten that, and that's what we're going to use to create our template. So save it as a page for template. Now, what you need to do now is create your A3 page. I can find that on here, but if you can't, then you can do the dimensions as shown with me swirling my mouse. Make sure it's in landscape format, RGB color, and in RGB, not sRGB. Create your printing sheet. Go back to your template, and we're going to copy it and put it on the printing sheet. So Command A, Command C, go to the A4 page and press Command V to paste it. I'm going to shift it over to the left-hand edge, and that will leave us with a bit on the right-hand side for joining the pages. And you can now see the grey border around each page, which will give us our crease lines. So I'm copying that, and I'm dragging another one down and lining it up with the first one, and then a third one. So this is giving us 12 pages on one sheet of A3 paper, but as I do say, it is quite small. I'm abutting them to each other so that we can cut between them easily, and I've left a little bit on the right hand side as for joining. Now this is where it gets complicated. So I'm making a new guide layout with 4 columns and 3 rows, and hit OK, and as you can see the guides are all higgledy-piggledy and not quite in the right place. So you then have to select the guides using the move tool. If you hover over the guide, you can actually get that little double line, and that allows you to shift it so that it's actually lining up with the edges of your pages. And that includes the one at the end and the ones between the rows. And actually you do need to zoom in on this, because as you'll see later, I don't get it quite right and have to work on it to make it a bit more precise. Fiddle, fiddle. And by the time you started to do all this, you wish that you'd been able to do it in Affinity Publisher. However, this is just an alternative way. So we've got all our images lined up, and I'm now going to add a tiny bit around the edge of the canvas just to make it easier for us to see where the borders are and the cut lines, because we can't really cut the edge of a page, and when you print, it often doesn't print exactly to the size of the page. So now we're going to make some marks around the edge of the template for where we're going to fold the paper and also where we're going to cut the paper. So I'm using the pencil tool, and you have to go down to the base layer, the background layer, to do this, because you want them to be on the sheet of A3, and we're going to get rid of the fake photographs once we've finished setting this all up. So you use the pencil tool and if you press the shift key after you've placed it, it will make a straight line rather than a wiggly line. So if you put your pencil tool at the corner, press shift and then draw your line, it will go nice and straight for you. And these are like trim marks, so that's the edge of the paper. And this next one is a fold line. This is a trim line between the rows of books or pages. So here's another, here it comes. Oh, wiggle, wiggle. So place your pencil on the line between the 2 pages at the junction and press the shift key and draw the line out to the edge of the page. So that's going to be a cut line. This is another cut line between another row of images. Shift and run, and then this is a trim line. So this is a corner trim line, so you're going to be trimming a little bit off the top and the bottom of the page to make sure that all your pages are the same size. So this is like the corner marks where you will make your trim. And moving along to the next fold line. This is the line between the pages where you're going to make your fold. This is your next fold. another fold. And then this one is going to be a fold. Whoops, I forgot to press the Shift key. And then you're going to trim the page, and this little bit, this spare area on the right is the paper that you're going to use for gluing one page to the next. So you're going to be cutting between the rows of pages along these lines. But you're not going to cut off this spare area on the right, because that's going to be key for gluing the sections together. Whoops. And this is another fold line. Nearly there. One more fold line. And this should be one more to go. All the way around, I've done that one. So that's all your trim and cut marks. Now go back to your layers and get rid of the fake pictures. And you now have a template for placing your pages, and you've got the marks for cutting and folding. Obviously you can do this for any size of image, and you can adjust it according to the size of your pages. So I'm just saving it as a template for 10 by 10 centimeter pages with marks for folds and trim. And once you've done that, you can then place your pages into the template. So I'm going to open So now I'm going to find one of my pages and place it into the box. So you should already have saved your pages as page 1, page 2, page 3 with the border around them to fit the holes. So this is a 10 by 10 centimeter page. I'm copying it and pasting it into the template. And then I move it into one of the boxes. This must be page 1 of my leporello. And you will see that it fits exactly into the first square. And then you can do the same for the next images. Okay, I'm going to put another image in, so go back to the folder where I have all my images. And you can obviously save those somewhere on your computer where you know where they are. And I press Command A to select, Command C to copy, and then go back to the template and Command V to paste it. Okay, that was actually the same image as I did before, but pretend it's not. Go back to your layers. This is layer 2. Whoops-a-daisy. I'm going to get rid of the layers that I made the template with now, just because it's confusing us. So that's that one. Get rid of those fake pictures that I had set up to make the template. So now we've got layer 2 is this image, and now we've got layer 3, which is this image, and I'm going to move it. And when you click on the move tool, you can see the border around it. So I'm going to move it into, I'm pretending this is the second page of my book. And I've got it, you can see all the little pink lines are happy that it's whoops, fits the box nicely. And once you have, and you just nudge that up slightly into the, make it fit exactly. There we go. Once you've got all your images onto your page, then you can go to print. I'm going to hide the guides so that you can see what it looks like without the guides. I'm going to go back onto the background layer so you're not going to see that box around that second page. So now you can see that on your sheet you've got your crop marks and your cut marks for the line between the pages, and another line here to go between the pages. You're going to cut down the edge here, and then you've got your fold lines down 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and then you've got a little flap for joining. Now if you've got a bigger sheet of paper and you've got room, you can have a bigger flap, or you can actually overlap a whole page, but this will waste a lot of your paper when you're dealing with small pages like this. So I would normally just join it with a 2 or 3 centimetre hinge on the back of the leporello. So then you can go to print and you're away. So your sheet of paper will come out looking like this, and you'll have all your crop lines and your fold lines, and obviously it would make sense to make your folds before you trim the edges off, because otherwise you'll lose the connection between the top fold line and the bottom fold line, and that will keep them all regular and together. So if you want to flatten it, you can. So layer, flatten image, and then file, go to print. And make sure you're set up for A3 paper. This is that's A3, and you will then go off and do your print. You don't need to add more printing marks because you've already set them up so that they're exactly right for your pages. Okay, I really hope that helps. It is a more laborious way of doing it than doing it with publishing software, but you can give it a try and see how you feel. Anyway, I'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you.